Everybody talking about the solution, and I'm gonna tell you solution. And then if you can't understand it, then there's no solution for you.
Yo, what it is, what it ain't, what's poppin'? This is One Mic brought to you by the IMBC Network. They call me Sincere, aka Now or Never, BKA Sinn. And today's topic is, what happened to hip hop? Before we get into it, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notifications to stay tapped in. Now let's look into this. At one point in time, hip hop wasn't just the music, it was a lifestyle. It was a choice of living, a style of living even. It was the block that you lived on, it was the culture, fashion, it was movement, art style, language, like all wrapped into one. As far as the MC, you couldn't fake it. Like you got tried at any corner, at any moment. Once you announced that you was an MC, you got tried by other MCs at any moment of the day. I was young when I started, so all of my ciphers started in like cafeterias at school or the park at the rec center or my grandmother's front yard. No matter the location of the arena, I had to get in the ring, showcase my style to gain my respect. As an MC, as far as fashion is concerned, I can remember far back as 5 years old, 6 years old, rocking the crazy windbreakers, ultra dark shades. I might have had a chain on. You gotta have some fly sneakers. The lingo is crazy too. If you're not up to speed, fly is like cool. I can't believe I gotta teach that. You could tell what side of town somebody was from based on how they danced. Hip hop was truly a fully embodied culture. MCs had their own style back then. Everybody was so different. Think about Nas on Illmatic or Wu-Tang, Outkast, E40. Everybody was different. Everybody had their own style, but somehow to push the culture forward came together like Voltron. That's why I really don't like the term rapper. These are artists. They were painting pictures with words, giving you full descriptions of their neighborhoods, like a journalist or a newscaster or something like that, letting you know what's going on with the politics in their neighborhood. These are not just rappers. These are artists, storytellers who created records of timeless information. The culture of hip hop is a reflection of real life, not a formula. Somewhere along the line, the game changed. I personally believe it was the internet. Once the internet hit and ringtones and all this other shit, it kind of wasn't about bars anymore. It wasn't about the art form. It wasn't about being as respected as Hamlet or Edgar Allan Poe. It became this numbers game, I guess. I mean, I can remember a time where we didn't pay attention to, and these are lyrics. We don't pay attention to Billboard. We don't pay attention to Grammys and all of that. And then out of the blue, it was kind of like the experiences that I had at the lunchroom or in the playground doing these battles and being just part of this free culture. It started to be about what the songs were saying it wasn't about. The money and the fame and things that were just not initially introduced to be hip hop. We stopped getting these mixed, don't even get me started on mixtapes. But as far as the albums go, we used to have these full-length albums with deep cuts in them that people still enjoy to this day. Now that everything is flipped, the landscape is saying, put it on TikTok. It's single based now. Everything is about the single that you can put on social media. And like, don't let me sit here and rant like I don't fuck with that. I fuck with that. I'm not mad at how it evolved. It's put hip hop in places that I feel like it's safe to assume that the people who helped start the culture would have never imagined. This shit is everywhere. Hip hop is global now. So the evolution is natural. I fuck with that. It's just the soul shifted. And I seen it coming, to be completely honest. Maybe about 5 years ago, you could make a dance challenge and be on and be just as big as Hov. As far as being in the eye of the public, being visible in hip hop at one point in time was difficult. You had to have a skill set. You had to know the ingredients. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some dope artists that came up through this way. My point is, a lot of what's being pushed today doesn't belong to the ingredients. It doesn't belong to the essence of the culture that helped raise me. Maybe I sound heartbroken as fuck right now. And see, here's my question, because we're slowly going in one of two directions. We're either slowly, like really, really slowly growing, or really, really slowly dying. A famous Nas quote, "Hip hop is dead." I think that statement is somewhat true. I can't say that hip hop is dead, right? We just saw the Kendrick Lamar pop out. We just heard all of the Joey Badass and Rayvon back and forth. That was fire. It's not dead per se, but it may be on, like I say, either the verge of becoming something else or on life support. It's like in between a dying art form and a spoiled product. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain this shit. And it really depends on who you ask. I can speak to somebody who understanding of hip hop is just rap music, which is fine. I think that once hip hop grew its arms and we started getting these different forms music from it, it started expanding people's acceptance of hip hop and leaking into other cultures. You don't have to be in America anymore to hear hip hop. You could be in Africa, Okinawa, Japan, Uganda. You can be in Thailand, China, the UK, Australia, Canada. Obviously, we all over the damn place. It really depends on who you ask. To some, hip hop is rap music. To those of us who were raised by hip hop helped our parents raise us up. It's a little sad. A glimpse of what I got to see. We had shows like the Arsenio Hall show, and all of our childhood shows, Sister, Martin, Fresh Prince, these hip hop stars would go on to the shows, and it would like fuse all of the cultures together. You see what I'm saying? It was a culture at one point in time. We lost track of what's important to the culture and overly doted on the music. The music was fine, but when I asked my parents about their time of hip hop, there wasn't a lot of hip hop music to play at these parties that hip hop became popularized by. It wasn't a lot of rap music to play at these parties. They were dancing to disco, they were dancing to soul, they was dancing to funk and creating these break beats to do it. You needed a DJ to do that. You needed a break beat and then a break dancer, and they got all of the hottest fashion on. Back then, hip hop was primarily focused in, one area. So they would come in with some Dapper Dan shit. I can go on hours about this, and I actually plan on it. I'm gonna be putting up a one mic episode pretty much every week. I love the hip hop culture. I am a hip hopper, and I want to connect with other hip hoppers who feel the same. So I'm throwing it to y'all. What do you think happened to hip hop? I know this conversation is bigger than one mic. So drop your comments down below, and I'm going to tap in with you. This has been One Mic through the IMBC Network, and I'm going to be closing these episodes out with hip-hop lines. Because why not? We might not change the world, but we're going to manipulate it. I hope you're participating. Peace.